The weather. I just rolled it. Promoting.
Do you see where Mahomes is building his new house?
No, we didn't make it up that far. That's a little bit too far up the main channel. We're on the Niagara.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Snelling.
Present.
Harris.
Here.
Behrens.
Here.
Keating.
Here.
Bikeman. Schrader.
Present.
Throm.
Here.
Baraki.
Present.
8-0.
Okay, thank you. First up, we have approval of minutes from the regular meeting, July 8th.
Move to approve regular minutes, July 8, 2024 is written.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next up, we have the approval of minutes for the special meeting, July 16th.
Move to approve special meeting, July 16, 2024 is written.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Thank you. We now have public comment. If anyone would like to come forward and speak to the council who's not on the agenda, we'll do that first. Please give us your first, last name, your address, and your ward.
Hello, my name is Michael Pilsel. I live at 1401 South Street, Marysville, Kansas, Ward 4. I'm a Life Scout out from Troop 180, and I am working on my Eagle Scout. One of the requirements that I must fulfill is to lead in a service project to benefit my church, school, or community. I would like to construct a storage facility for the Marysville Aquatic Center, and I come here seeking permission. That is my proposal. A signature on the last page under the beneficiary indicates the approval.
So we probably won't take action on it tonight since it's the first time it's being brought to us. It might be something our Parks Committee will look at, but
We'll have to make copies.
I was going to say, if we can, we'll get copies of this and we'll get everybody to look at, what's the, where are you planning to put it at the Aquatic Center?
Just south of the slides.
Okay.
Inside the fence? Inside the fence?
Inside the fence, and I plan to move it around the fence because the fence is so close to the sidewalk.
Yeah, we'll have to make copies of that.
When would you propose to get started on the project if approved?
Upon approval.
All right, well, thank you for bringing that to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is your contact information in this as well?
Yes, and you
Okay.
can hold on to it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to come forward for public comment that's not on the agenda? Okay, we have a library update from Andy Cook.
Good evening. Thanks so much for letting me come up and talk to you. I'm not going to read the letter for you. You're all very capable of doing that. But I did want to just highlight the fact that we had a really good summer program. I think that's pretty awesome. It's always neat to hear the cacophony. It's always nice to hear the cacophony of sound on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, particularly. Just kids in and out and with their caregivers, and it's so neat. One additional thing that I didn't put in here, just I think on Friday actually, I confirmed that we're going to have a class called A Matter of Balance. And we're going to partner with the Northeast Kansas Agency on Aging, so that would be in Hiawatha. She's licensed to teach those classes, and so it would be for anybody who might be worried about falling and maybe limited their mobility, limited their activities because they're worried about falling. That's going to start August 7th and then run Wednesdays through August and September at the library, so that's pretty exciting. We love to partner with people, and I contacted Ashley Slipionik at our Agency on Aging, and she was the one that kind of pushed me over there. So we're really excited about that. And just to finish up, just to make sure that you see, we do have great things, even though we are on break for our summer, for rest from our summer programs. We still do have great things happening at the library. A couple of other special events, as well as, of course, our book clubs and things like that continuing on. We will restart our programs at the end of August. Are there any questions for me or anything else you'd like to hear from me in the future? Okay.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you.
appreciated.
Okay, next up we have business and discussion items. First item is the 6th Annual Pony Express Half Marathon and 5K, September 7th. St. Gregory the Great Catholic School and PTO.
I don't think anybody's here.
I don't think there's anybody here to speak for it. This,
Is there a reason we shouldn't do it?
I think we've done it for several
Yeah,
years. This is the 6th year, so they just ask us because the police help them across the highway, and then they put signs in the right-of-way, which they will pull, just so people stay on track.
Of course.
Do they request anything from us as far as barriers?
Just the police,
police.
just the police to help them across. And then they come back on 2nd Street and come, so they don't need back up. So.
Move to approve request.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the half marathon request. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Thank you. Next, we have the 11th Annual Pony Express 120 Gravel Dash, 6th and 7th. Wayne, would you like to come speak about this?
Good evening, everyone. You'll notice the request is similar to last year's request. The only addition would be the activities that go with the Pony Express Festival. We're leaning into the heritage of the Pony Express, and so we've added an event to complement the gravel dash. So that will be, when you notice the stuff that happens on South 8th Street, that will start early in the morning. Tammy at the Empty Cup is going to open early. We plan to have bluegrass music playing all day so that people can come out, hang out, have some coffee, listen to some music. The Pony Express Barn, a museum, has activities planned all day. We have demonstrations planned all day. And next week we'll unveil what hopefully will be an amazing culmination of the Pony Express Festival with a chuck wagon meal and a barn dance hosted by the Lawrence Barn Dance Association.
I'll move to approve the request.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the request. Is there further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Next up, we have 11th Road discussion. Rob Peschel, would you please come forward?
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening, Rob.
Yeah.
I think there was a little confusion. I know there's been some emails today about the rationale behind dropping of the service lines on 11th Road, and the reasoning behind lowering the road in general. I think we needed maybe a little bit more explanation of why it should be dropped, other than kind of what I would have intuited, which was raised. So.
Yeah, well, so it's the hill right there at Zetterman's south property line.
Mm-hmm. Where there's the gas lines, et cetera, right there.
Yeah, those have all been.
They've been taken care of.
Last 6 months ago maybe when they were out there. I brought this. Austin knew about this a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Two main reasons is to get that ditch to drain better there in front of Zetterman.
Lowering the road's gonna make the ditch drain better.
Well, the ditch will go down with it. That hill right there where it's kind of slows it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other reason was the sight distance as you come from the north, heading south. Every year that goes by, there's more and more people that walk that road. And right now, you can drive the speed limit on that road, but most people don't want to just because of the condition. But chances are, when it gets improved, they'll definitely drive the speed limit. And so we were looking at sight distances and things right there as you pop over that hill, and so you don't run up onto somebody that's down at that bottom portion there right there at R.J. Vogelsberg. So that was some of the improvement, or what we were trying to accomplish there.
They plan on doing the same thing to the south end like the design showed too? There from, well, pretty much the bridge going south, they got some cut coming off of that one too.
Yeah, and it was a little bit, yeah, just
See, the north end, basically all they did when they built that was they took 6 inches of road off, they put 6 inches of concrete in, end of story.
at the north end?
Yeah,
North end,
everything
okay.
that's been done so far.
Right, yeah.
Took it out, put it back.
Yeah.
You know, we still haven't done anything with the drainage ditch that comes out from, yeah.
The senior living?
Yes,
Yeah, that'll be part of this project. Yeah.
where's it gonna go?
Well, it's gonna stay in that ditch.
In that ditch?
Yeah.
Not come out on the road anymore?
Right.
Cause see, that was part of the problem, the water coming out of that ditch, that tube so fast, it was shooting across the road there.
Right.
That's why I can't figure out how lowering the road
Oh, that
is gonna
portion.
keep that water on
That-
that side of the ditch.
Well, that portion of the road won't be lowered. That'll be raised about 6 or 8 inches right through there.
Okay,
So that'll raise up, it's kind of trying to balance quantities and things of that nature, so.
well, just figuring, you know, cause
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
we've had problems there, and you know that, you live out there, you see
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, oh, yeah. So part of that too, Kevin, is so it'd be the ditch towards where we want to cut that hill there at Zutterman, at the south line of Zutterman's. That ditch, when it would slow down, it would deposit silt in it up there around Zutterman's driveway.
Right.
Which then just created more it just didn't flow as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So if we can relieve some of that pressure down there as we go down the hill towards R.J. Vogelsberg's, keep that water in the ditch moving, that's our intent there. But yeah, if you're talking about right there south of the senior living, that's gonna be raised about 6 or 8 inches.
Okay.
Yeah, just to kind of
So
balance.
I just wanna make sure we got something to keep that water,
Yeah.
even if we gotta put in a tube or cut back in that yard so we can get that water directed more south instead of
Yeah.
shooting right out onto the road.
Yeah, and we want to give you guys an option to look at too. There's a not a geogrid, but it's a thing that goes in the bottom of the ditch that allows grass to grow but holds the dirt in. We want to look at that as a alternate maybe at bid time instead of riprap or something like that in the ditch. That way it can be mowed and not erode at the same time. So.
Are you gonna have to get into that rock then,
Yeah.
where that water goes now?
Yeah.
And the contractors you've been talking to know that they're gonna deal with the rock?
Oh yeah. When they do a site visit, they're going to see that.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to know. And so one thing to look at, Bartles dug their water line in here 4 months ago, and so that kind of gives a little bit of an indication what that hill looks like. They dug that all out with a backhoe. Yeah, so.
And what about the speed ramp?
Yeah, that'll be removed and it'll be a transition that gets removed.
I did not get a chance to look at the plans. We're not going much wider, are we? Because I think the wider we get, the faster people go.
It'll be the same width as what's
Yeah,
What's there?
20
Yeah.
feet, wasn't it?
Okay.
24, I
Is
believe.
it 24?
Yeah, with a 2-foot shoulder, rock shoulder on the edge. Yeah.
That's true, I know a narrower road does slow traffic, but I've also, germane to your comments about people walking and pedestrians, I've heard that comment from people. It'd be nice to have like the North 11th Street does and North Street does, whereas a trail, somewhere where people could walk outside the traffic lanes. So, because as it is, That's pretty tight.
Well, and you know, Todd, I see you out there a lot. I don't know if, I mean, you're pretty early in the morning, but there can be a lot of, and it's just getting more and more. And the more, the younger kids or younger families you have out there, they got their kids on bikes and, it's just, you know, we just wanted to try to, so they could see that as soon as they could. Cause our hope is they'll see those people when they're going by the Keating Drive. That should knock it down enough to see that, at least see their shoulders and above is what. Now, a little kid on a bike, maybe not, but, yeah.
So the one thing I have a question, like on the back page of the handout that we have, the email that we got, it talks about initial cost of 2 options and then the future cost over 45 years. What goes into that 45-year cost analysis for the 2 options of asphalt or concrete?
Oh, you're talking about that life cycle?
Yeah, the life cycle thing.
So, so on the asphalt side, we'll add 3 years of cost for maintenance. We had anticipated at 15, 30, and 45 years. It's actually a 50-year life cycle. And concrete has one rehab in that 50 years. So, did that answer your question?
Well, and what's involved in that maintenance program on asphalt versus concrete?
So you'll look at your asphalt and you'll do a mill and overlay. We'll project out what the life cycle of that asphalt would be, and then factor in 3 times where you do a mill and overlay. And so I think those numbers this is a project we're working on over in Washington, because they wanted to see the difference between asphalt and concrete over 50 years, and so those numbers you receive is from that project. It's a little bit shorter project, but hopefully it still gives you the idea that you can project that out. If you waited, let's just say you waited 50 years and did the project, we had projected the $3.4 million asphalt turns into $9.1 million. And concrete, again, these are at today's prices, and 4.8 million concrete turns to just under 13 million, 12.9. So that's on this project over in Washington. So you're looking at again that project, and these are back in February when we did this. There was a $1.2 million difference between concrete and asphalt. And then if you waited 50 years, there was a $3.8 million difference.
But you'll have to do some work other than just mill and overlay that in 45 years. I mean, you're gonna have to treat it or chip and seal it or something, I mean, in order to get that kind of life out of that.
Yeah, probably do a crack sealing.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever all brothers
Right.
pull down,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But you'd want to have a plan in place if you went that route.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean,
It says after 5 years, we're going to put a sealant down, and then
right.
after 10 years, we're going to overlay like they did on the Okita Road recently.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing that says, let's say we have this at 15 years, do a mill and 2-inch overlay. Say you get to year 13 or 14 and it still looks pretty decent because you've done your crack sealing, you've done you can maybe push out another couple of years, so that 15 could turn into 17, that type of thing. I mean, the good part about this project the way you're going to do it is you've got a good base, you'll have a good base, and that's what's going to save that road. I mean, that's really the problem out there now, is there's just no base under it.
Any other questions for Rob while we've got him here?
No, everything makes sense, no.
There's been some discussions about staging it in a little bit as well. What are your thoughts on whether it's best to go ahead and get the whole stretch done now versus break it out?
Well, I always like to go back to a need versus a want, and I think anybody I've talked to, not maybe all of you, but I think without hesitation, everybody agrees that that's a need to improve that road. So the need's not going to go away. You're gonna need to do it, and it's going to cost. I mean, we had, again, things really were crazy right after COVID, but we had projects that a client would wait on, and it would double in 5 years. The project was twice the cost. Now, again, you don't know what the economy is gonna do, and that may not be quite that bad, but, and that was a water line project, so, I mean,
Costs are only gonna go.
so that'd be the only thing I'd say to that. I mean,
This country.
phasing it is absolutely an option.
Afford to do it.
That's what I was wondering, in our budget, on our projected budgets for the last 3 years, we always projected so much going towards this project. Did that money get transferred, or did we just say, oh, we might spend this much money this year?
It was more of a, we would spend it this year, and then we used that, carried over.
And you generally don't move the money from one year to another and compound it because that money's gonna be needed for other things throughout the year. Or, you know, you carry it over and it's still that 200,000 that it was the last year, you know. So it doesn't go from 200,000 to 400,000 because you're putting 200,000, because it doesn't get put off in a separate bank account, you know.
So complacency works against you.
Yeah, you could kind of say that.
Yeah.
What we put in the budget for this year was not the 900,000 number that we're talking about now. We didn't have the estimates at the time that we were talking through the budget. So our guess was still, I think, 500,000. So we would have to look elsewhere.
So where would we get the other $400,000?
It's a good question. So with this project, it's paid as you go rather than at the start or at the end, you know. So we do have that going for us a little bit. You know, we could be paying it partially this year and then next year. But otherwise, we're talking about maybe combining projects, looking at bond issues again, you know, and then maybe just not doing certain projects. But even then, I don't know that you get to the point where you make up that amount of money. So it's something that we're gonna have to look into a lot further in order to make sure that we are able to move forward in the first place.
Now, I will just for you guys to think about is, the timing to bid this project's coming really good. The timing is really good. And because of the nature of it, you could get a contractor that's looking to fill his first quarter of next year or first 5 months of next year, but be willing to do the water and sewer line yet this fall. So if you're talking budgets and there's money, that type of thing, they would have to do that first anyway. So just something to think about too, that if you're trying to split between budgets or some of that nature. So.
Would that give us an opportunity to look at some of these programs like the Safe Roads in Kansas?
It would give us a little bit more time. I'd have to
Cost share
look to
programs?
I'd have to look into those a little bit more to see what that would look like. If we're talking about the water projects during the fall, or during the fall, winter, and then, you know, the road project during the winter, spring, then we're talking about different funds. You know, the water projects are in the water funds, whereas the street is gonna be in you know, the sales tax, so.
So, on that note, so then the water and moving the sewer lines, are they coming out of the water and sewer fund, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and we'd be able to cover those pretty easily, I believe, based on what we have in the water line.
Because I'm just gonna be honest, I get the updates from the governor's office, from the Department of Commerce, from the Department of Transportation, and there are so many projects that we're missing out on. So many funding opportunities. And we gotta figure out a way to start harnessing those opportunities. I don't know how that is, if we rely more on the Northeast Kansas.
Regional Planning Commission?
Yes, or whoever, but there is a lot of money going out, even counties outside of us, like the next county over, that we're not harnessing. So I think we need to figure out a way to have some shovel-ready projects ready to go and go out and find that funding, even if we have to match 40%, 50%, whatever it is. I mean, we need to take a strong look at that and be very serious about that. Because otherwise, it's money on the table that's just going somewhere else.
But for now, we gotta decide what we're going to do moving forward with this project. If we're gonna do it, when would we need to know as far as the water lines? What's the timeline for getting that out?
I mean, it'd be ideal if we could get it bid, start to advertise at the latest the 1st of September. And if you guys decide you wanna phase it, we will have to revamp the plans a little bit, so we'll have 2 sets for each phase. I asked my office before I came, just in case, because I know, Josh, you had mentioned that, and we're probably looking at 2 weeks of manpower to do that, so to know sooner than later is better, just so we can keep into that timeline. And then to Jeff's point, you guys, if you're looking at funding, September is a big deadline for a lot of applications, so that would be another reason, just so you don't wait till the end and then have to really jump to make it happen, so. The good thing is you guys are to where you are with plans. You know, that usually looks favorable because it is shovel ready and ready. And at this point, I don't hear you talking about getting funding for the design. You're just looking for funding. So now you've put a little bit of skin in the game at this point.
Do you have resources to help with funding? Not searching for funding.
Yeah, we work a lot with North Central Regional Planning.
Okay.
We start there first, one, because you guys are members, and they have those relationships, and yeah. We've probably got 6 or 8 projects with them right now, just, they take care of the applications and that sort of thing, so.
Well, I think this whole project's taken a long time to even get this far, and I don't think we should delay it or risk delaying it any further. I mean, even though I know it's gonna take a stretch and maybe some creativity to do it all at once, I think this, is a stage, because there's still 12th Road. There's still, I think we need to bite off as much as we can right now and finish this while we have the easements and all of that in place, and then go after, keep pursuing, because 12th Road's not gonna get any better either.
No.
And I wouldn't phase 11th Road.
No.
We need to figure out a way to just get it done. And if we gotta be very creative on funding, we're creative on funding. And it might be a learning experience for us for 12th Road.
Yeah.
Well, and to your point on that, Jeff, and I'm not saying this because I live out there, but the way that project, if you go the route of concrete, the way that you're gonna have to phase that is you're gonna have to have one-way traffic while they do half of it. Wait for that half to get to the base, get built up, and then switch over. So you're gonna have, for a while, you're gonna have northbound traffic only. Anybody going south are gonna have to go around or something like that. So if you were to do it in phases, you're gonna affect the people living out there a second time. So I don't know if that matters or, now asphalt's different. I mean, it's just a different construction method at that point. You can put down your base layer and then have traffic on it yet that night, that sort of thing, so. Just something to think about.
So if we go ahead with this, what kind of timeline are we looking at for this stormwater on
Nordis project?
Nordis,
yes.
that's moving forward.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're related necessarily,
Yeah, they're-
because we have the separate funding for that already
Okay.
figured out, so right now we're just looking for the specifications on it, so that way we can add it into the contract.
Yeah, so
Otherwise-
we've got 90% of the preliminary engineering done, and now we're starting to size the pipe, and plans are gonna go together, so, but I think, Josh, you and I touched base, and a timeline, I think we were kinda saying that probably next summer is when that construction would, by the time you have KDOT review it and get it out for bid, and then,
It would be complete, you
Yeah.
said, yeah.
yeah.
So all
Yeah, we
that
said
water
about
on
a
that
year.
14th, 15th Street, will all that dump in that big tube that goes down 14th
Yeah. Yeah.
directly or indirectly or?
Yeah, well, right now, I looked at them the end of last week, and it's coming down 15th Street, of course, and it's gonna cut across the highway and come along the south curb heading west along the highway, and then turn and go south to that
that
48 inch.
junction?
Yeah, yeah. And the reason it's gonna cut across and go along the south curb is because, we wanted to increase that angle right there at the southeast corner of Nordis, Cause if we put a 90 in there, it upsized the pipe to 48-inch pipe. And so we were trying to get it back down into that 24, 30-inch, so we widened that angle there a little bit so that it wouldn't have any, restriction there, so that was, either way, you're gonna have to go along the highway, so, and cross the highway and that sort of thing, so. Then we wanna make sure that we don't have to reroute anybody, just do a lane reduction or something like we did for the manhole projects, so.
That went fairly smooth, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the good thing is, they reduced the speed to 20, and it was just, we didn't have parking along in those areas, it was plenty of room, I think, to.
Even the wide construction loads still
Yeah.
didn't have much problem going through there, so.
Yeah, no. And you had a good contractor on that project too, that helped a lot, so. Yeah.
So is it the consensus of the council that we need to find funding mechanisms to proceed with doing this as one go to finish 11th Road?
Yep, finish it up.
Yeah. But we wanna get moving this fall on the sewer and water,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And I think if we can get it out to advertise and stuff, we can start to let the contractors know that those are your wishes.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah,
Thanks, Rob.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, thank you
Appreciate
guys, yeah.
Next up, we have ordinance 1926, amending the UTVs and utility vehicle regulations in the city. This would be,
I'm not voting for
should have highlighted it.
What
Basically allows
would
it
do is pretty
24
much-
hours a
yeah,
day,
it
anywhere in
removed
city
the
limits.
restriction
I was gonna
of
say.
sunrise to sunset,
Yeah.
so I just had to remove those lines.
Just excise
And the
those.
highways
And
within the
And
city.
the highways, and I
Exactly.
removed that part, all I had to do is remove it.
So under this, the change would be that it can be 24 hours a day, any road inside city limits,
And lights on
with
24
lights
hours.
on all the time.
All the time.
licensed and tagged in the city of Marysville.
Correct.
Yeah, all that's the same, yeah.
Stays the same.
But I'm just saying that out loud so people don't know they can't bring a UTV into town and be expected to be able to ride it.
Right.
And you have to be a licensed driver,
18 years old.
18 years and older.
That's the problem I have, because you're trusting a 16-year-old to drive a pickup and car in town.
Not a UTV.
I just don't get it.
That to restrict them?
But they technically have a restricted license now at 16.
Yeah.
Until 17 and a half.
Yeah.
They're really
Yeah, that's when
restricted.
they get their driver's license now.
You can get them at 14, 15.
Farm
Still
permits.
restricted, but it's still
They're
But you're trusting
restricted.
them to drive a pickup and
Only-
town on farm permit.
But only farm kids, don't get me going with that.
And legally supposed to be firm use only.
Yeah, there's lots of crop review going on.
I think we start with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta start somewhere. If it goes well, maybe.
I just still don't like it because you have somebody coming down the hill on the highway in a UTV and a semi can't stop and hits them.
Unless he's using his Jake brakes. Which we approve.
But the thing is, if you're in a car and get hit by a semi, how much of a chance do you have of surviving? 50, 60%, 70%? You get hit by a semi in a UTV, you don't have any chance of surviving.
Most of the time that you get hit by a semi, you were probably in the wrong.
Yeah.
Because and I drove for Studers for a couple of years, the semi drivers are more cautious than the people driving a car or a moped or a UTV or
And that's
whatever.
correct, but I'm saying that's gonna happen. I can just about guarantee that's gonna happen, but whatever you guys wanna do, I'm not for it at all. And I can't believe there's people in this town that are not for it, that are not for it.
most of the UTVs these days are actually safer than vehicles. They have 4-point harnesses, not a seat belt.
I've
I mean,
ridden in
they're-
them, Chris. I know what they look like. I know what they are. I've ridden in them for years. My grandkids have had them for years on the farm.
The farm UTVs, yes.
Yes.
But most of the UTVs you see rolling around town are the ones.
The
with
same
no
as the farm ones. I've
Well,
seen them.
I think we can what if it to death, and if we keep restricting everything, I mean, I don't think that's our place. We allowing them already, I don't think it's gonna hurt to allow them at night during the day. They have headlights, turn signals, tags, they're paying property taxes on them already. I don't see the issue. Move to approve ordinance number 1926 as amended.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Snelling,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Barons,
No,
Keating,
Yes.
Beichman. Schrader,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes.
Gracky,
Yes.
7-1.
Thank you. Next up, we have ordinance 1928, city providing 30-minute loading unloading area. This is along Center Street behind the bank and Ott Electric. Ott unloads trucks there. The bank also has armored cars that load and unload there. 30-minute parking zone will allow enough opening there for them to be able to get in there to do their work at those businesses.
Technically, it's not parking, it's only loading and unloading.
Loading
So
and unloading,
You can't park
actually,
there
that's where
to run into the bank.
Move to approve ordinance 1928.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No.
Oh, roll call. It's an ordinance, you're right.
Snelling,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Barons,
yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Beichman,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes.
Gracky,
Yes.
8-0.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Resolution 2024-14, nuisance, 1505 Broadway.
I actually called, these are customers of mine for my business, and I called them to let them know what was going on. I don't know what happened with the letters or whatnot, but I drove by tonight. It has been cleaned up.
It's been remediated.
It's been taken care of.
So you don't have to pass it.
Okay. So we can just sit on that one.
I mean, I don't know what the procedure is if the code enforcer needs to go re-inspect
He
it or
will.
what.
Yeah,
But I just-
he'll need to, but we can take no action if that works for everybody.
Yep.
Okay. All right, last up, we have back to school happy hour, 8:15, Kester Park.
Move to approve the request.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Thank you. Okay, I see no notices or hearings. Brings us to the consent agenda.
It appears to be the same thing, but the first one was allowing alcohol in our park, and this is a consumption request.
Move to consent then.
Second.
Okay,
I
it's
was curious on that too.
Yeah,
Why-
right, yeah,
technical.
Yeah.
yep.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8-0.
Next up, we have presentation of appropriations ordinance 3827.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3827, amount of $487,131.91.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call?
Snelling,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Beichman, Schrader,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes.
Gracky,
Yes.
8-0.
Thank you. Brings us to city administrator report.
So Skyfest was just recently, it was just a couple weekends ago. It was a good time for everybody. They had lots of kids' activities, food trucks, fireworks. I've heard plenty of compliments about the fireworks. There was one thing that did come of it though. There were nails all throughout the grass. and we don't know if those were from the fireworks or what they were from, but we ended up having to get a roller magnet, so that way we could try to get them all up. So I don't know if it's how they put together the fireworks or not, but I know they were a great show, and we'd love to have them back. I just wasn't sure if there was another solution to how they put them together.
I addressed that when I heard about it in a roundabout channel, and I went down there that night with a magnet, roll-around magnet, looking for them. I found 4 of them. They were tearing things down by headlights, and I kind of was on them a little bit, but I think at 1 o'clock in the morning they just left. But they do apologize for their actions, and it won't happen again. I can't say that he is going to retire, but he's going to. I talked him into if we continue to work with him, he'll do our show and McPherson's. They have a show, it was just last weekend, so he will continue to come here for us. So yes, Shane is very apologetic over the nails. So
it wasn't too much work, just,
yeah.
if somebody's driving around there, we don't want a tire
shoot
to,
nails.
yeah, or the lawnmowers, yeah. So,
You were
just wanted to
saying there
make
was
sure
gonna be
they
trash
were-
in my yard, Jeff? My son actually went down and asked for the empty shells and brought all those back.
What are you gonna do with them?
I have no, he's gonna make G.I. Joe parachutes out of them or something.
So next, there was an incident after hours at the pool on July 13th. I'm sure everybody knows about it. But with community help, we were able to identify the individual, and they were cited by the PD. So all groups did a good job of, figuring out who it was. So that's everything.
Did we get a solid number of how many were at Strike Fest?
Wayne?
We'll report that next month when we get our placer data.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I just had people discuss with me today how they thought we were basically spinning our wheels to do the balloons because this is the second year in a row they have not got to do the glow.
I think that's something that, we can bring up with the different groups that put it on and see what the best option is moving forward, if we want to keep trying it or not,
Just, we paid a
can't
lot of
predict the
money
weather.
It is, yeah.
to those people.
Unfortunately,
No, you can't, but.
there's no way.
Is it because it's sprinkled again or something?
Windy.
Windy?
It doesn't take much.
The winds aloft were pretty high that day.
It's better to have the safety standards in there than,
Correct,
something to
but-
happen, so.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah,
that.
it is
It's
a bad
just that-
situation that we haven't been able to have it the 2 years that we've been trying to have it.
Did they get the
You know,
rides again?
they're gonna look.
No,
They couldn't do that.
Yeah, it's too windy for that, too.
There was a storm off to the south, and so up higher, it was speedier winds, keeping them grounded.
But they're gonna
35
look
mile an hour
to see
1,000
what
feet.
the best way forward is gonna be, and then they'll go from there, so, yeah.
Still a pretty good event. I mean, brought a lot
Oh, yeah.
of visitors and.
Yeah.
When the kids got down, they at least had the baskets out. The kids went over and crawled in the baskets. Some of them even lit the fire with the kids in the basket. I mean, they had a good time. I mean,
We had a lot more, small business people, like with little crafts and stuff this year too, selling stuff as well, didn't we?
Yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot of involvement.
Yeah, it seemed like, I mean,
There
everybody was
was,
bringing.
the food lines were a lot more reasonable this year.
yeah, they were.
I think a little more.
Very much
availability.
so.
It's neat.
It's good.
And I got 10 fingers.
That's what's counting, Jeff.
Okay, next up we have standing committee reports. Street committee did meet. I think we're gonna have to set up another meeting for the street committee, but does anybody wanna report on that?
Well, is that ordinance
Yeah, it was the
The
ordinance.
ordinance that we've
discussed
already
that.
passed,
Yep.
yeah.
and the alley parking?
Alley parking regulations. And then Josh, you're gonna come back to by the next committee meeting.
I'm sorry, I wasn't there.
It's all right.
Oh,
We went through with it anyway.
Alley parking came up again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got that here
Well, that was
too.
part of the reason the street committee met,
Yeah.
was about alley parking.
Was it, the
And
changes
the-
we made, or?
There was a proposal
Well,
from
there
our
was a
attorney.
proposal that, I don't know.
Pretty big.
It was a lot, and
Lot of
I didn't
legal
like a lot of the
mumbo jumbo that we
verbiage
don't
in
need.
it.
We
I
kind of-
personally did not like a lot of the verbiage in it, so
Well,
we're gonna
this is
revisit
the
it.
man with thick books. No, it was discussed that it was probably something simpler would be more suitable. So Josh, we, took some of the comments of the group and we're gonna discuss it at the next, kind of hew it and then have it discussed at the next street committee meeting, so that way everybody's on the same page. It's make sure that we know it's what we want, rather than just throw it out there.
So it wasn't people complaining about it, it was just,
No, it's just been, it's been in the works for
Gotcha.
6-8 weeks now, maybe, so.
Since it was
They're still
brought up
talking
and,
about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know when it would work to have a street committee meeting, but we need to get that set up, and Parks and Rec, we'll need to have a meeting.
that one needs to happen
That's probably
in
sooner rather than
August.
later.
After? Yeah,
Oh,
after
Not in
August.
July,
Not
but,
in July, after the,
but it'd be nice if it was as early in August as we can go.
On both the street
On
and the
the
park?
Parks and Rec.
Oh, the street committee can meet whenever?
It
I mean,
can be-
it's ready
that's-
whenever, it'll be
that's
ready
not-
whenever.
Oh,
Big
okay,
push.
okay.
Whenever you're ready, and he's ready.
yeah.
Not
Get
tonight.
after the meeting.
You're the two we gotta worry about.
So, are there days that work for the Parks and Rec committee?
And the Parks
In
and Rec is
August.
Keith, Kyle, and Cherie.
Anytime you need to.
You throw out a day and time and I'll see.
Not on Tuesdays.
Not Tuesdays, okay. That's good. I mean, that gives us a place to start.
yeah, you'll send out.
And, I mean, I can try and call them if anybody thinks about it here and.
The main thing for it would be the, sport and rec contract, but then also we are, of course, talking about the locomotive again.
Wednesdays and Thursdays is fine with me.
And also the proposal,
Wednesday and Thursday?
Eagle Scout project proposal.
Yep, the Eagle Scout project, yep, get that.
My takeaway on the locomotive is, first group that raises the money, shows us they have the money to move it, can have it.
That's gonna take a lot of donated money.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Okay,
Do you care if it stays local?
As long as they raise the money to move it, and if it's gonna stay local,
No,
it
what I'm
needs
saying
to
is
raise
you-
the money to restore it.
so, and that could be anybody.
Anybody, doesn't have to stay local as well.
It's literally just sitting in the park deteriorating at this point.
Right.
It is sad. I mean, I hate to see it go anywhere, but
Sounds like a committee
Yeah,
discussion.
sounds like that Parks and Rec
let's-
committee is
let's,
gonna really work on that.
All right.
All right,
Sorry.
do we need any other committees to,
We're just trying to figure out the date.
Okay.
Otherwise,
I don't know if we have any need for police and fire or.
You can,
August 7th, is anybody,
for what?
Parks and Rec, August
August
7th?
7th?
August 7th.
And then we'll have to try to get do you want to meet with the?
it'd be
rec
good to
people
meet with
right away,
them.
Or do you want to meet before you meet with them?
I guess that's up
That's what.
to the committee,
I'm
yeah.
curious, Yeah. Do you want them to come right away, or you guys want to
5:30?
meet first? August 7th? Okay, Cherie, Keith, and Kyle?
Yep.
Okay, 5:30, August 7th is a Wednesday.
5:30 work?
5:30-ish.
All right.
And as far as the street committee, do we wanna work on that now, or do you wanna do that?
Let's,
Okay, well, we have an admin and finance
finance on
meeting
Monday the 29th, all right, yes, we do.
at 5:30. How long do we think that might take?
Oh, good, I hope.
Okay, perfect. Do we want to do a street committee meeting at 6
That's fine with me.
Oh, what was it, on the 10th?
On the
10th?
Monday the 29th.
on the 29th? Because we already have an admin and finance meeting
is that this
at
Monday?
5:30.
Yep.
Okay,
Does that work?
yep.
Monday the 29th.
So you're saying 6 o'clock? Because 5:30 is his meeting,
5:30 is his meeting, and he doesn't think it'll take very long.
so
I don't
try
think it'll
street
take
at
very long.
6.
Street at 6. Perfect.
If the street committee.
I love when I can back everything up.
Yeah, you.
If the street committee would like me to appear at the meeting on the 29th, I'd be happy to.
You're around? Okay,
I think that.
Yep.
that'd be good.
You say it starts at 6.
Street at 6.
Admin and finance, are you gonna be here? Okay.
God willing.
As best as you can plan at this point, huh?
Okay. All right, I see no appointments or wage determinations. City Attorney, do you have anything for us tonight?
I'm currently working on the easement to move the storm siren on, I believe it's the southeast portion of town. So gonna get that over to Will as soon as possible.
Put it in my backyard.
Well, it is almost.
My wife would love that on Wednesdays at noon.
Anything else, Aaron?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
How are we doing on the Marlnick, condemnation?
We need to start taking some further action on that right now. So I filed an issue of appearance, so we need to just file a motion to have it dismissed at this point. And potentially, look into proceeding, against the new property owner and going that route.
But doesn't Walter still live there?
Doesn't matter, it's who owns it.
Okay, because he's still burning.
Oh, yes. He's still putting stuff out back, so.
So do you have to do your part before Will can do the condemnation pictures and bring them or not? To the new owner?
I believe so.
You do? Okay, so you'll let us know when that is so we know when we can move
So
forward?
that's what we're looking at doing right now, is just, well, it followed a motion to dismiss their appeal
Okay.
that they have in place right now, and
Okay.
if we can't get that approved, then we're gonna, seek action against the new owner.
Just so we get it in the right order, so he knows when he can start sending notices again to the new owner.
Okay. Anybody have any reason for an executive session tonight? No? Okay.
We haven't had one of those in a long time.
And now,
Want one?
No?
that means there hasn't been anything happening in a good way. All right, we'll do council comments. Lori?
I don't have a lot. I just have, on our little lovely spreadsheet that we get, some of these that are like dated clear back like May 7th, May, whatever dates that are still not done,
They say no, I don't have one.
like front, not back. In progress. Most done, backyard. Okay, I don't know why are we sending notices to these people if 2 months later they're not being followed up on and they're still not done? You know what I mean? Like, that's my biggest thing. It's been,
We need to take action.
yes, because, like this one is, 5/7.
Got an
That's
address?
been two,
Got an address?
yeah, I'll give it to you later. Like that's been
Yeah.
2.5 months.
Yeah,
And
so I don't.
I'll add to that once they're done, take them off the list.
Yeah.
Just to make the list
Yeah.
smaller.
I agree, because a lot of them, it says mowed on them.
Yeah, if
Peel
it's
'em
done,
off the
take
list
it off
if
the
they've been
list.
mowed.
Just
Yeah.
makes it easier to look at
I
it.
think it's the way the spreadsheet is, so they need to hide those lines.
Right.
Hide or
Have a second tab
delete.
on the
Yeah,
sheet
there
or
you just
something.
delete the line.
Completed.
But yeah, what does the letter give them?
2 weeks. 10 days. If it's mowing, it's 10 days.
10 days.
10 days.
And now we are 30, 60
Yeah,
days,
if it's
and
mowing,
still
yeah,
not
not
done.
cleanup.
But
So
10 days,
To mow, and then we go mow it.
but that's too long, as much rain as we've been getting to
Well,
go
it used to be
10
2 weeks,
days.
and we lowered it to 10 days. I mean, that's a council decision to change the code.
Well, we'll leave it where it's at.
yeah, I
right
just
now.
think that if we're
But clean the
spending the
list
money
up.
to send us certified letters, we need to be following up on those certified letters to make sure that stuff is getting done in a timely fashion.
But the problem was
My
we
opinion.
didn't have a code enforcer except for Will before, did we?
No, Will was doing it.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Will and Chris about
I
it.
just feel
and
like we
see-
need to make sure we're staying on top of the people that are getting certified letters, or I
Yeah.
feel like it's a waste.
Or if they are completed and have to be up to date.
Yes.
Always, that way we know how to read it, so we know
Yes.
that's the way it is. So.
That's all I got.
Bree?
I've noticed the stop signs, I've had quite a few complaints about them, but
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand the red flags on the inside. You don't see them until you get there. Why aren't they towards the street?
While you're on that subject.
Oh, okay. Like at Dargis Park, it's right of the stop sign, so you don't see it, and even down here, it's to the right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna look, you're gonna look at the street to see a flag.
Yeah.
They just seem like they're on the wrong side of the
Okay.
stop sign.
Yeah, I'll talk to Gary about that to
Yeah.
see. I don't know if on the outside of the sign is how they did it in the past whenever they put in the new signs.
They did it on both sides, like on 16th Street, they did it on both sides, right?
I don't remember, I don't
That
think
was
so. I
on
think there was
14th.
just one flag per
Or
sign.
15.
Yeah, like 16th, I remember them coming out both
16th is on
sides.
both sides.
Yeah,
But I agree,
I know,
sticking
I
out
brought
into
that
the
up.
road would make it more
Yeah,
obvious.
you gotta see a flag.
So,
and then I got a text about that said 13th and Carolina going south is hidden by a large tree limb. I'm guessing it maybe meant 14th, because we didn't put a stop sign at 13 in Carolina, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one up by the,
Church.
Catholic
okay,
Church.
apparently it's hidden by a large tree limb.
I knew we were
My
gonna
wake
go-
up text this morning on my vacation.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Anything? No?
I apologize for the nails. I will do a better job of, I was tired that night. We had our class reunion and I was out there for several hours setting up, and then class reunion, watch a show, and I was ready to go home. But I thought we did a good job last year, but we'll do a better job next year if we do it again. That's all I got to say. Hope everybody enjoyed it.
Beautiful show.
Heard a lot of
Out of
compliments.
town.
I heard a couple people said the only one they'd seen better was Disney World, so unless you have your budget, it'll probably stay around.
Did anybody notice the music thing?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
90s.
Yep.
Some of it was better
And
than
it was,
others.
it was right in with the fireworks. Yeah.
Next year, we're gonna go for ballads.
Oh,
Is that what you call them?
yeah.
Probably. Like
I was,
Playlist
somebody
of-
thought this was better
a
than one.
Bohemian Rhapsody and
I haven't either.
different songs like that, but a playlist of very short clips of that.
I like it. There you go. I like it.
Good deal. All right, thanks, Jeff. Keith?
Yeah, the late Terry Hughes was working on some ordinances, and what he found was they're kind of contradicting ordinances against ordinances, and I just want to, I got all the information that he had, I just want to bring it forward. And so next meeting, I would like, to bring all your code books, so we can go through that couple ordinances, and whether we have to change a sentence, or add a sentence, or repeal an ordinance, but
You got some numbers for us, so we can maybe do a little homework
Or could you
beforehand,
come to
maybe?
the admin and finance meeting Monday?
Tell me what they are, I can send them out to them.
yeah,
We just
she's got all
email
the
them to you.
paperwork.
Okay,
Okay.
And
okay.
He could get them
Perfect.
to me.
And there's also a letter, he had a letter from the Kansas Attorney General for an opinion, we could discuss that too, so I would like to put that on the agenda for next meeting.
Okay. If you can get me that information, I'll get it.
If you still have it, you think you still have it?
I don't know. I might not, because I get piles, and then move to the next year, so I don't know what.
But you'll email all that to us, okay, thank you.
Anything else, Keith?
That's all.
Okay. Kevin?
Same as Cherie's complaints on the stop signs, weren't they on the other intersections and stuff like that? Nothing major, and fireworks show was great time at Sky Fest, so.
any additional stop signs we need to bring to police and fire?
I feel like you should maybe wait a little
Let's
bit.
get through this round.
Let this
I
one
think we
slide
say
and then-
like 6 a year or something, just like that.
Let this people
Tend to be a bit averse to change.
Chris?
For Josh, the road where we talked about last meeting about the asphalt by the driveways,
Yeah.
got calls saying it was fixed, and they're very appreciative, so just wanted to pass that on to you. And yeah, no, Skyfest was good. I didn't get to watch fireworks because I was chasing my dog, but I heard they were good. That was good.
Thanks, Chris. Kyle?
Nope, just same complaints about stop signs. But they've been addressed though, so.
No, I think there were some people who thought it kind of snuck up on them, but we did discuss this at several meetings, and it was published. I mean,
You know, we do our due diligence.
We did.
so that everyone knows.
One of the complaints came from inside my own house, so.
You gotta listen to your constituents.
I did.
Add it to the list, okay?
One quick question I have.
Yeah.
The lagoon project.
Yeah.
An update on that, really quick? Just kind of curious.
Right now, they're still doing the dirt work on
Are they? And a lot of concrete?
up at the lagoon, yeah, the concrete stuff. still.
Yeah.
But then down at the wetlands, it's the dirt work.
Okay.
I think they're still flattening up at the lagoons too, and that's gonna take a while. We're trying to get an updated schedule. I got their schedule from them finally, but trying to figure out if we're meeting all the deadlines for certain grants. So I know an extension has been filed, so we'll see how that goes, cause we've already extended it, I think twice, so.
It'd be kind of nice, if there was I'm sure we've done this before, but I get so many people asking me about, what's all that dirt being moved around for? A very small article in the paper that just explains the wetlands versus the lagoon. And so people understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
Cause I think just something simple, don't get too complicated, just something very simple that explains what's going on and,
Nice picture, like a nice.
well, the
drone shot.
concrete's going that way and the dirt's being done over here and.
I can even get you a drone shot for free if you want.
There you go. All right. The only things I had were a couple more items that might be something for the Parks and Rec Committee to discuss while they're already meeting. One is on that fitness court proposal we brought up at last meeting. I know it's like a long-term discussion, but something to be kind of, start the conversations on as far as whether it's something that people think would get used, if it'd be worth trying to find somebody to sponsor it, so that it could be built rather than using city funds to do it. Similar and different is I've had a lot of people asking me about splash pad, since we don't have a splash pad in town. I know that's something else we can discuss. It's obviously not going to be a this year project. I've heard it discussed for adjacent to our pool or to the aquatic center, also at Dargett's Park, somewhere a little more accessible to a different part of town, mostly for small children and that, but I think it'd be worth, at least having some discussions. I know there's some local contractors who've offered to donate time and labor.
Volunteer their time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
I know I got a call from one of them, yes.
So I think we owe it to them to explore it as well, because that's very generous.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
if we can add those to that meeting, might make it a little longer, but I think that'd be good. So, all right, I don't have anything else.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Heard everybody.
I didn't hear any no's.
One of these days, I'm gonna oppose that.